Hey there, Wendy here with Jazzydoodledesigns, and today we're going to take a look at the pictures that I colored in July. Now, I haven't posted a video for a while, and for the next couple of weeks, I probably won't have a whole lot of videos as well. If you're interested in the reasoning for that and an update on my mom, please listen at the end of this video and I will talk about it. But this is a coloring channel and not everyone's interested, so I want to be respectful and put it at the end. Okay, so let's get started. First up, A Symphony of Cute Animals by Kanoko Agusa. Now, on my Facebook group, they have a honoring an artist type of thing, and Erie and Kanoko Agusa were the two artists that were chosen, and so I did this page. I used Inktense pencils as my base layer and then went over it with ChromaFlow colored pencils. There is a full color along up on the channel already. I really like this page. It's one that when I very first got this book, I was like, I want to color this page. But you know how it is. Sometimes your favorite picture, you're almost hesitant to color it. But, you know, with the summer vibes, I was like, no, this is perfect. And I really like how it turned out. Now, the one thing I will say here is that I had colored this a different color and then changed it, which is why you get kind of this muddy look. And I do talk about that, or I do point it out in the video. So anyway, I really like how this one turned out. Okay, next up is Petite Poupée for my little Frenchy friends. Little Dolls is what that translates to, by Hachette Heroes. This is such a fun book. But I did this page with the guana, I don't know, acrylic markers. And then I used Polychromos colored pencils to go over the top. Now, I do a full review of those acrylic markers on the channel, and I show my process in this page, or on this page. So if you're interested in that, look for the review and then scroll to the middle of the video where I actually use the markers. But I like how this one turns out, and I really like that acrylic markers give it a vibrancy. There's something very vibrant about them as opposed to the softness that is sometimes colored pencils. Now, I'm not saying if you don't do 50 layers you can't get, or if you do 50 layers you can't get vibrancy with your colored pencils, but nobody really wants to break their hand. And I was pretty impressed with how these turned out. Now, I chose not to, you know, blend out some of the texture that you sometimes get when you go over acrylic markers, because acrylic can leave that a little bit of a texture to them. And so then when you put your colored pencils over it, you get a little of that texture as well. I personally don't mind that so much. There are pages where I do, but for me, coloring it's supposed to be fun, right? It's supposed to be about the process, and so I'm okay with it. But anyway, look for that if you're interested. Okay, next up is Fairy Tales by Emily Lyda Oberg. Now, there's a large group buddy color that's going on with this, and every other month we color a page, and this was the page that was chosen this for July. Now, this is a very unusual color palette for me, and I'm really not sure what I think about it. There are things that I really like about this. Her dress, I absolutely love how it turned out. I used some very soft colors, kind of like a blue, a yellow, a pink, and like a French type of gray to create the illusion of the white without leaving it just starkly white. And then I chose to do, initially I was like, well, they're lemons, because of course they are. But then I wanted something different. And so I decided to make them limes. And I did have just these greens like this. And then in the end, I chose to add a little bit of this kind of, I think it's cream. I use ChromaFlow colored pencils, and I believe the color is cream, but it's the second to lightest color. But it has this it adds a little warmth to those limes, and I really like how that turned out. If you just look at her, I love it so much. But in relation to everything, I felt like her hair was a little too yellow. And I think what happened was I initially, I had all my strokes for the hair, and I used a blender and I blended everything out because I wanted to get rid of, a lot of the white spots like we were talking about on the other page. This one I didn't really want those. And so I went ahead and blended it out. And when I did, of course, I blended all of the white that was in her hair and made it more of the yellow tone. And I feel like it really did a disservice to her hair. Now, if you look at her hair by itself, it looks fine. But just in proportion to the page, I wanted it a little more white blonde, a little more, less brassy, right? Less yellow. To me, her hair looks gold. And that really wasn't the look I was going for. But once you blend it out, I did try and erase it right here. And you can see that it doesn't really work to erase once you blend. And so, and for a blender, I think I used, I just think I used a Copic marker with rubbing alcohol in it, which I thought blended just fine in other places. Looking at this now, I think I would have made these a less jarring color juxtaposition here. Maybe incorporate some of this purplish blue into these petals here. I feel like this palette is fine, but it's just not my favorite. And it could be that this is a page that I colored within the last week or so. And if you listen at the end of the video, it might make a little more sense. Okay, next up we have a couple of pages here. I did this page here with the Guan acrylic markers, and as you can see, it did a really fantastic job not leaving a lot of the streaks that you often see when using acrylic marker on big areas. I was pretty impressed. I don't love this color that I chose for the face, but I made some, I talk about this, I believe, I don't know, I talk about it in one of my reviews, but one of the things that I talk about when when I talk about doing color by numbers, I made executive decisions. If you look here, this color is supposed to be really dark, and then this is supposed to be this color. And maybe in retrospect, that would have been a better choice, but the marker colors that I had available to me, because I wanted to stick with this particular brand, I believe did not really have the two colors that I liked. And so I chose to do it this way. I think it's important that you make those kind of decisions for yourself as you're doing these books, because we're not always going to have the exact match, right? But anyway, let's see what else I did. I did a couple, and I think I did 3 in this book. And then I did this one. And once again, you can see it does a fairly good job with the lack of streaking. Now I'm gonna zoom in. So like in areas like this, we have absolutely no streaking. Now when you get into the really big areas, I'm not sure if you can see it, but there are a little bit of streaks. One of the things I do to kind of minimize that is doing two coats. Doing two coats is very helpful. Also, keeping your strokes the same direction can help. You can see here a little bit of where I came up this way, and then you can see the strokes if you look really close. But I like these markers very much. I like the color choices, I love the price, and I think they do a fantastic job. Let's see. Now, this one was done in June, but I didn't talk about it in my June pages because I forgot to put the little taggy on it. So when I was going through my July pages, I realized this. Now, this was done with the Woomer acrylic pencil or acrylic markers. And once again, if you zoom in, you can see in your bigger areas, you are going to get a little bit of maybe streaking, right? You can see the directionality of your strokes. But once again, these are really good acrylic markers. I think what I'm going to do, because I just was sent the Ohuhu acrylic markers, and then I had purchased the Woomers and the Guana, and I may have one. Oh, I've got some Thule art, and I have some Artex that I've purchased too. And I think I'm gonna do like a little showdown on acrylic markers to kind of showcase the differences between them so that you can decide for yourself what works for you, because oftentimes you can get the same results with the different brands, but they have different benefits. Like some of them you don't have to shake. Some of them you have to shake and prime. Some are hard to prime. Some are easy to prime. Some are more expensive. Some are cheaper. Some are more limited palettes. So I want to compare all those things so that you can take a look at the markers and decide what is best for you, because what is best for me might not be what is best for you. And what's best for me is to own them all. Okay, it's a fair comment though, right? I mean, don't we all want to own them all? But I've often said, I take one for the team. I buy them all so you don't have to, so that you can see the pros and cons of each and make better informed decisions. But now I'm just blathering on, so apologies. And I think that's it for this book. Next up, one of my faves is Mr. Benny Blue. I colored this page. Oh, nope, that's June. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this was also a little mini challenge on my Facebook group. Shameless plug for the Facebook group if you want to be a part of some fantastic people where you can post your colorings and comment on other people's colorings and just feel the love of people that appreciate what you do, because let's face it, our family thinks it's silly. And even if they don't think it's silly, they honestly, they're like, oh yeah, that looks great. Sometimes you just want to hear from people that understand. Well, in the description box below is a link to the group. Please, 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 if you want to join the group, you have to answer, I don't know, it's like 5 super easy questions, like what's your favorite medium? And you have to agree to the rules. And the reason I set this up on automatic, I don't even look at it, the little bots in the background do. If you follow those things, you will be invited into the group, but I do it to keep out spam, and I do it to keep out those people that just want to join a group so they can be trolls. So make sure you do that, because if you don't, you will be rejected, and that never feels good. And I oftentimes I can see that people have tried to join, and it makes me sad because I'm afraid that they're not going to try again. If you get denied because you forgot to do that or didn't understand you needed to do that, just click on the join button again, or I think it's join. You click on that button and just scroll down a little bit, and the rules are there, and the little questions are there. Okay? There's no right or wrong answers. Absolutely no math. All right, so back to the pages. I've been on a chroma flow streak. It's the pencils that are close at hand. They also have a beautiful palette. There's 150 colors, and I really enjoy just working with them. But I did Mr. Benny for the 4th of July, because I got diverted. We had a little mini challenge where you could do, I think it was either a picnic or something for the United States peeps, to celebrate the independence of our country, the 4th of July. And I thought, what better than Benny Blue with the Statue of Liberty? I like how this page turned out because I like all Benny Blue. All right, so that's that. Next up is this book, and I shamelessly plug this book because honestly it might be one of my favorite books that I've seen in quite a while. I've seen some adorable pages from those of you that I coerced, shoved into buying this book. There is a full flip through on my channel. But we had this month's challenge was to do, what was it? One moment. Now I have to look. Okay. I got ahead of myself because I was like, wait, July was 4th of July. This is for August, but I did it in July, so I'm putting it in July. But this is the August, August. And I just thought it was adorable. Guess which pencils I used, y'all? Yeah, the Chroma Flow. Of course I did. But, yeah, I think that's what I was trying to think if I used anything else. I don't think so. I just used, I used the Chroma Flow pencils and then Posca White for the clouds and for the little marks and stuff. And I just think this book is so stinking cute. And I know I say that about a lot of books, and then sometimes they get set to the side. But come on, Marie Antoinette. I mean, every page I can flip randomly, and you just find delightful images. So if you're looking to smile, if you want something fun to color, it's a little better than Amazon paper. It's produced by Cider Mill Press, if you're aware of them. I wasn't. There's a whole Color Me series, but this is the one, the captivating coloring book. Because who doesn't love a good pun also? Okay, and I think this might be the final ones that I've worked in. So I did a few pages in this. Now this is something, I'm setting a set palette for this. So I started with the title, well, there's this cover page, which I didn't start with, but I did start with the title page. I just wanted to see how the pencils would work in this. I've been using Colorsoft drawing pencils and the Harmonious pencils because I wanted a little bit more of a vintage feel. I didn't want bright red berries and that kind of stuff, so I was kind of playing around with that. Now, I did this 2-page spread, and I like how this turned out. I do. And I like the kind of the sepia look in the background. So it was a mixed match of colors, and my thought is that I'm going to use those 3 brands as I go through. Here's another little piece that I started coloring. And I'm just going to be coloring it kind of from front to back, I think. Because this is a book that eventually maybe I'll give my grandsons. It's just really adorable, and I'm thinking of buying the Brambley Hedge book for inspiration. If any of you have that, can you let me know? Do you think it's worth it? Are the images great? Because I don't have any of those. I just love the stinking cute little mice. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Okay, so for those of you that are only interested in the coloring, I think that's it for this month. And quite honestly, I'm surprised that I got that far. Maybe I'll keep the page open just so that you have something to look at as we talk. So, as you may or may not be aware, my mom moved in with me in April. She had been in and out of the hospital in January, February, and March, and then in April, she almost passed away. And the doctors were saying she might not even leave the hospital. And so then the next day I went back in, and she was like perfectly alert and like, hey, why is everyone so sad? But at that point they put her on hospice and we moved her into my house. And so it was quite a flurry because we found out on Friday. She moved in on Sunday, Easter Sunday to be exact. So I had to clear out a room and get hospice in there to get a bed and all the things for her. And then I spent the next like 6 weeks going through her apartment, which was emotionally and physically draining. And very hard for her to kind of let go of that independence, but at the same time feeling safe and secure living with me. Fast forward to the 18th of July, she fell in my hallway. She was just walking from the bathroom to her room, and she broke her tibia and fibula just below the knee, almost cleanly. And so she was in a tremendous amount of pain, and she really wasn't physically strong enough to handle a surgery. And so the orthopedics said even if she made it through the surgery, she really didn't have the physical ability at that point to do the physical therapy necessary to even walk again. And so for her to hear that she was going to be essentially bedbound, I think it just broke her. And she never wanted that. Her biggest fear was a nursing home. And at that point, if she were to survive and essentially thrive, I would most likely have to put her into some skilled nursing home because I don't have the ability as me, myself, and I to physically move her, to keep her from getting bed sores, to make her meals, change her, do all the things, right? And I think just hearing that from the doctors just really broke her spirit. And so I'm going to try and get through this without crying. So she passed away on the 25th. And so I have spent the last week just trying to recover from the whirlwind that has been the last 6 months. And I want to say thank you to you all for your support, to your well wishes, to your thoughts, to your prayers, to your taking the time to reach out to me to see how I'm doing, to encourage me to take care of myself, to encourage me to take time, that you would still be here, that you would still watch my videos to keep me and the YouTube algorithm from failing completely. I cannot tell you how much that has meant to me. I've said it before, I think you're the best community on the internet, and I am so very lucky to have you. I had my mama for 75 years. She almost died 20 years ago, 17 years ago. She came very, very close to dying. She's been on oxygen since. Everyone thought that she would be the first of 5 kids to pass away, and she was the 4th of 5. And for that, I am tremendously grateful. But it's been hard. She was always my rock. She was the one thing that was always constant in my life. So please forgive me for not being on the channel as much. Her memorial and celebration of life will be on the 16th. So at this point, I have family and friends starting to arrive, and I'm doing all the things with all that goes along with this. So you may not see me, but I am in the backgrounds. I am working on videos, but I want my channel to be a place where you go to get away from life's challenges, to have a little fun, to giggle a little, to laugh at my antics, and hopefully learn a tiny bit about coloring. And so I don't want videos like this one where they're sad. My mom was my biggest supporter of this channel. She was my first membership. She was my first Facebook member. She watched all my videos. And so I'm going to end it here because I'm going to bawl. But thank you again. And grab your loved ones, guys, because things can change so quickly. Give them a hug. Forgive. Forgive all the stuff. All the stuff that in retrospect doesn't matter. And just embrace them for who they are and be grateful for them in your life. Take care. Happy coloring.